All right, we're kicking things off with Reclaiming America with our counterculture mom, Tina Griffin. Tina, it's great to see you.
Hey, great to see you too. Doing whatever we can do, right, Dr. Duke, to keep this flying high, that American flag, red, white, and blue.
We've got some stories today. I want to start with the unmitigated gall of Hannah Jones, right? This is the woman, Nicole Hannah Jones, who gave us this ridiculous 1619 curriculum. Now, just by way of background, the 1619 curriculum was largely made up by her. It is completely ahistorical. I mean, serious scholars on the left of history had commented on what bad history this is. Quietly, many liberal historians are trying to correct how bad this is. She has no degree. She's never been a teacher. She has no degree in writing curriculum. And so she's trying to bully her 1619 curriculum, which looks at American history for 400 years exclusively through the lenses of race and racism and slavery, reducing all American history and social studies to the discussion of slavery and the evil of the founding of this country. So that's who she is. I'm going to now play the video. Can't wait to get your take on what she has to say as a mom.
I don't really understand this idea that parents should decide what's being taught. I'm not a professional educator. I don't have a degree in social studies or science. We send our children to school because we want them to be taught by people who have an expertise in the subject area. And that is not my job. When the governor or the candidate said that he didn't think parents should be deciding what's being taught in school, he was panned for that. But that's just the fact. This is why we send our children to school and don't homeschool, because these are the professional educators who have the expertise to teach social studies, to teach history, to teach science, to teach literature. And I think we should leave that to the educators. Yes, you should have some say. But school is not about simply confirming our worldview.
I don't know if I should laugh, cry, or punch a hole through a wall at this point, if I can just be honest. This is why we are losing America. Do I have hope for this nation? I do. But as a very concerned person and parent in this country, this is why I am currently educating my kids at home under our roof. Because we want to make sure at the Griffin household, our kids know the truth about how our country was founded, Dr. Duke. And I know there's other options out there, but it's few and far between these days when you have people like this. That my number one question, why does she even have a say? Why does she even have a microphone? Why is she on TV? Of course, we know mainstream media, and they're trying to hammer home the lies. So that's why she's on there. How much is she getting paid? Who is she connected with? She is the one that is causing the racism. She is. A majority of America love each other. Kids, they don't look at the color of each other's skin. That doesn't even cross their mind. But what are we seeing now? Because they're being indoctrinated with this deadly, deadly, toxic poison on school grounds. We see stories like what I just saw and woke up to this morning. A young man who was a coach for some sports team at a local school, and a bunch of middle school students beat the heck out of him in the middle of a school parking lot and broke his arm. All different color races. But my question is this the garbage on school grounds being taught to cause our young kids to actually go out and commit crimes, attack their very own teachers, think that they have a power to do so, no consequences as a result? This woman is a reason why America is struggling the way it is. These people do not need to have a voice.
And I tell you, it's even worse than that, I think. You heard her. She just said that she's not a teacher. She doesn't have a degree in teaching. She has no experience in teaching. She has no experience in teaching social studies. And yet her 1619 program, she's bullying it into American public schools. She is coaxing and making a lot of money from schools who are replacing actual history books that cover complicated issues in American history, like slavery, from a number of perspectives. She's pushing those out of public schools, and her garbage curriculum is being replaced. It's the absolute complete cluelessness of these people. Only teachers and educators should be allowed to talk about what we do in school. If that's true, why does big Black Lives Matter have their big fat nose in what's going on in schools across the country? If you don't want parents in, then you certainly don't want Black Lives Matter in, which was a Marxist ideological movement full of non-teachers.
That's exactly it, Dr. Duke. And with the video footage that I'm getting sent from parents around this country, their children that they're paying tax dollars to send to a school every day to get actual factual truth are, instead of learning math, if they are taught math, it's now, the Common Core garbage where you can't even do a math problem. Anything goes. There's no final answer. Whatever you want it to be can be, which is insane in itself. They're being taught how to run a Black Lives Matter protest outside of their school at the ages of 5, 6, and 7 years old. They're taught how to actually divide and have more racist rhetoric on the school grounds and outside the school grounds while being taught these tactics in school during school hours with our tax-paying dollars. We are the only people that should decide what goes into our children's brains at these schools, but these schools are run by primarily communist-backed, government-backed, illegally backed facade, and they are deciding what kind of classes are going into these students around this country and indoctrinating them with this kind of garbage. We cannot send our kids any longer, Dr. Duke, to government-backed schools. We have to homeschool. And I was going to ask you, besides homeschooling, the number one comment that I'll get from concerned parents, let's say they have a job, they work outside of the home, they can't teach their kids a godly curriculum, truth from our country and the foundation of where we came from. What can we do if they don't want to send their kids to a government school and at the same time they can't right now feasibly homeschool? Do you have anything else to add to the mix that we could tell parents about this? Because I am really stuck. I don't want them going to a public school any longer.
All right, now back with Tina Griffin, our counterculture mom. Tina, you asked me a great question before the break. What can we do to get parents help who can't pull their kids out of public school right away, can't afford to do it, they're not sure what to do? My response would be, if you can't pull your kids out of public school, please take 1 hour every night with your kids, 1 hour, 5 days a week, and just spend time with your child learning what they learned, right? Find out what they heard about history today. Find out what they did about math and science. And when you hear a lot of the garbage that they're doing, spend the rest of the hour talking to them that there are more ways to see this. It's broader than this. Don't believe this is all the only thing that you're hearing is the right thing from your schools. Take a little time every night, 1 hour, just to deprogram them. I think that would help a lot in the short term.
I think it would. You know what? By doing that, I think parents will be livid if they really understood fully what their kids are learning in the school classroom. Another option is your Freedom Project Academy. They can take that online. And I thought of it, actually, another one as we're talking. I have my oldest son is 13, Jake. He's a self-taught learner at this point. So if you have older kids that can go through a curriculum, which my son has done within 3 hours because he didn't have to deal with the garbage going on with the drama in public schools today, bullying and talking in class where the teacher has to settle them down. They only get 5 minutes of instruction anyway. What you can now do is have the older kid help teach the younger kids in your house. That's what Jake does. He loves it. And it actually helps him learn how to be a leader and be a teacher. So there's ways around what is going on, but I just want to cry, Dr. Duke, when I think about the junk that these kids are learning in schools today, because it's all a communist plot, the same communist tactics of the 45 goals written in 1958 of how to take over America, and they have taken over our schools. It's no longer can we save it, it's get your kids out, the building is crumbling down.
Well, we do have some good news, Tina. There's this next story here out of Oklahoma, where Oklahoma is actually positing a bill that would give back to parents a lot of control when it comes to sexually explicit books in the classroom.
The grooming here is crystal clear. These books, that is not the place to promote these types of very sexual books to children.
Senator Rob Standridge is the author of the bill. He says these types of books don't belong in school libraries, rather sex ed classes, where parents can sign off on having their child attend those classes.
Parents never go there. So that's I think what parents are concerned about is why are they not involved in what books are shown to their children in the library.
Some of the books he mentioned parents across the state have complained about are Trans Teen Guide, Just Doing It, and the ABCs of Transgender.
A lot of these are alternative lifestyles, but some of them are not. And so what I think parents are concerned about is the over-sexualization of their children. This belongs in a sex ed class.
If passed, school employees who don't remove the books can be terminated. And if the book remains on the shelves after 30 days, parents who made the initial complaint, the district would pay those parents $10,000 a day. Parent and advocate for Oklahoma's Children and Educators, J.J. Burnham, says banning these LGBTQ plus books as well as other sexuality books are not the answer.
We start talking about banning books, and I think we need to be inclusive in our schools and make sure that kids have materials available to learn, to grow, and to explore. That's what we want in our schools.
I get so sick and tired of idiots like that last fella. It is not your job to make my kid grow sexually. It is not your job to make my kid feel comfortable about your transgender vision of the future. And it's not banning books, you clown. It's not banning anything. It is taking age-inappropriate books out of little kids' libraries.
My first thought after researching Hollywood for 20 years and being in Hollywood is that guy that's suggesting leave sexually explicit books in libraries for children that are 5, 6, 7 years old. What is he doing when he's in his classroom? What is he doing after school hours? Is he hanging out with children? Because the only people I can see that are that lunatic to be okay with this sexually graphic, disgusting content are the people that are engaging in it. Dr. Duke, this is such a serious thing. I've interviewed several people recently that the people that are endorsing this garbage in schools are the people that are running child pedophilia rings, the people that are abusing children, and we have to put a stop to it. Our kids are dying. They're having major STDs. They're having anxiety. They're getting pregnant at 12. They're committing suicide. We have rules number 25 and 26 from the naked communist W. Cleon Skousen that wrote in 1958 what's going on. Rule 25 and 26 that the Communist Party wrote that they want to overtake America are these two things that have already taken place in our country, and we have to say no more. Break down cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography, obscenity in books, magazines, motion pictures, radio, TV. Rule number 27, the goal number 27, present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, and healthy. That's why these people are shoving this junk in these schools, because they're working for the Chinese Communist Party. They're getting backed by major illegal corporations that should have countries that should never have a say of what goes on in American schools. Parents, I just want to encourage you with this. Dig in your child's backpack, find out what they're learning in classrooms, and I'm telling you, you will know that you do not want to sacrifice your child one more day by sending them to a toxic environment. Speak your mind, God will work through you, but we have to stand up for our kids, for our country, if we're going to save this nation. Go to our app to get more information, counterculturemom.com. We're also doing a donor drive, so if you want to donate to our cause, text the word donate to the number 55444. Every dollar is doubled. You can find all that info in counterculturemom.com and in our app, Counterculture Mom. Download it, get it.